I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, and my earliest memories about New Orleans, when I think about it, I think about going to actually my grandparents' office on Canal Street, and we would go shopping, and it just was, it was such a sophisticated and fun city, and it was so wonderful. I wasn't there very long. We moved when I was 5, but I have early memories of going with mom and dad, and mom taking me to her parents' offices, and the hustle and bustle. At that time, Canal Street was like Rodeo Drive. And if you've been there recently, it's not like that anymore. It's much more run down. But it was so sophisticated, and everybody was dressed up in their suits, and it was beautiful. And my mom just had, such a fun family. Like my grandparents, Gaga and Papa, we called them Gaga and Papa, and Gaga was so colorful, and they just had such a fun life. I just remember New Orleans being a lot of fun. And my dad had gone into the automobile business. So his grandfather, my great-grandfather, was one of the first Ford dealers in America. So my dad has all of these stories about his grandfather's arguments with Mr. Ford, and there's a whole book written about it. And I mean, it was just like, that was a whole nother epic, because dad was born in 1915. And so it was really like he was there for the beginning of the automobile, and the automobile like changed American history. So I felt like a little corner of my life was tied up in American history. And my dad just loved automation. He loved automobiles and motorhomes. So later, when I wasn't so young, and we'd moved to Colorado when I was 5, Dad ended up with a motorhome business, and he rented motorhomes to people who would fly to Colorado and, take trips all over the country. And we would basically be in a motorhome every weekend. And I would beg my dad, please, can't we just stay home for the weekend? I just want to play with my friends. And off we'd go to wherever, Wyoming or Yellowstone, or, all these places that I now look back on with such fond memories. And one of my older sisters, Melanie, used to just want to read. That's all she wanted to do was read. And Melanie would be lying on one of the beds in the back of the motorhome, reading her book. And dad and mom would be sitting at the front, look out the window, and she'd like glance over, and then she would be back into her book again. I remember one time we were someplace, and we always used to travel with our dog, who was a standard poodle. His name was Napoleon. And we left the gas station. We were probably 30 minutes down the road. And somebody was like, I think it's me, but my sister Heidi says it was her, who said, "Where's Napoleon?" And we realized we'd left him at the gas station. So pulled the U-turn, went back to the gas station, and there he was, just standing there looking so, like, where'd you go? Where'd you go? And we pulled up and opened the door, and he jumped back in, and he traveled with us everywhere we went. And of course, then, the thing that I was begging to stay home, I could hardly wait to take my kids on a motorhome trip. And we did, and we took my dad, and it was wonderful.